So with all the E3 conferences wrapped up and done, it's time to see who came out on top. We're not talking about all the E3 conferences, just the big ones. We're talking about PlayStation, Ubisoft, Nintendo, Microsoft, EA, and Bethesda. So let's get started. We'll take it from the top with EA. But who here didn't think EA's press conference was just a complete waste of time? EA's press conference this year was a complete joke. The only thing they really announced that was notable was Respawn's Star Wars game and Unraveled 2, which seems like it doesn't really interest me, but that's a nice surprise. It came out like the exact same day that they announced it, so it was a nice surprise. I'll give them that. But the rest of it was notable for just being plain and boring with nothing of any note at all. Even Command and Conquer got revived as a terrible PvP mobile game. The RTS genre is absolutely dead right now. EA's press conference was just cringy and all around terrible. Definitely the worst of this year. But moving on to the big conferences of note now, we got Xbox. And Xbox's press conference, depending on who you talk to, might have been the best of the year. They came out with all the third-party games, but that was mainly because Sony was focusing on their big four, and Nintendo was devoting a lot of time to Smash. And a lot of modern-day third parties are still, I think, a bit weary of heading towards the Switch. So they were going to Microsoft, and Microsoft was willing to give them the platform. Cyberpunk 2077 finally got revealed and looks pretty damn good so far. Granted, we haven't really seen too much in terms of gameplay, and I'm still not expecting the game before holiday of 2019, so we're still a ways off from that game even coming out. And Xbox, though, with their exclusives, they did announce that they invested in 5 studios. They bought Ninja Theory among some other studios. They founded the Initiative. I'm not sure what game they're going to be working on, since all of Microsoft's studios now are being named after what they're working on, so I'm not sure what they're working on, but I'm definitely interested. They also came out with Gears 5, and they announced Halo 6, really, with some kind of engine demo. Some people are thinking it could be a Halo 3 remaster, which I would be head over heels for, but I'm not holding my breath on that one. The most interesting thing, though, was I think Gears 5. They really are focusing on Kate, who, if you played Gears 4, in terms of story, was definitely the highlight just because of the ending alone. And that they're focusing on her, I think, is going to be really interesting. And I'm definitely digging where they're going with Gears 5. I still hope for a Pendulum Wars game, but if they're doing this, I'm not too mad about it. Definitely not a bad showing by Xbox, except for the Forza Horizon 4 taking place in Britain, of all things. I was really hoping for the Tokyo setting. That was rumored, but what are you going to do? Not a bad showing from Xbox, but depending on who you ask, they brought them all the games, so they had the best one. So not one I personally share, but not one I'm going to argue against either. And then Daddy Bethesda took the stage. Holy shit, Bethesda. We were really weary about how they're going to do with their E3 conferences when they first started doing them a couple of years ago. But god damn, they deliver every year, don't they? They came out, dropped Fallout 76. I'm really weary about it. I'm interested, but very cautiously optimistic, I guess you could say. And they also dropped the Doom sequel. Oh, I was holding my breath for this. I was praying for the Doom sequel, and we got it, and this looks fantastic. They're going to show gameplay at QuakeCon, but they're bringing back a lot of the classic demons from Doom 2, and I can't wait for that bad boy to drop. I'm hoping it's spring of next year. And then they also, of course, dropped the Elder Scrolls 6 trailer. It was a real quick showing of a possible setting, but we know it's coming, and I think it's better to show something than nothing when it comes to a franchise as big as Elder Scrolls, especially since it's been rumored that there's a little bit of infighting on the direction of the new Elder Scrolls game. So I'm hoping that they pull through and deliver the big game that everyone is hoping for in terms of Elder Scrolls 6, a true return to RPG form from the past games, in terms of like Oblivion and Morrowind, I mean. And they also revealed Starfield, which is going to be interesting, but I'm still not 100% sure what it actually is. Is it a space sim? I'm interested, but I'm kind of meh on it as well. But Elder Scrolls and everything else combined, Bethesda had a great showing. Fallout Shelter came to the Switch. The mobile Elder Scrolls game looks interesting, but I kind of wish they would put that on like the Switch or something, just because a mobile phone Elder Scrolls game seems like it could be a bit clunky. From what they showed, it looked okay, but it's a mobile phone Elder Scrolls game. I mean, how many people are really going to be interested in it? Probably a lot. You're right. Ubisoft's E3 was kind of interesting, but they announced Assassin's Creed, not Mario Odyssey, which seems to be taking place in ancient Greece. I would be more interested, but it seems like it's kind of more like really linked with Origins in terms of its combat, which Origins combat kind of started to get stale for me towards the end of my playtime with it. It seemed like movement speed, and it was also like way too fast. It ended up throwing me off a bit. They also announced the Division 2, which the Division 1 was so bad. I'm hoping they could pull through with Division 2, but if they can improve upon Division 1, I'll be happy about it, but it's going to take a lot of improvement from Division 1 to Division 2 for me to really get into Division 2, because, man, Division 1, they improved it with DLC and post-release content, but it was still pretty lacking. They also showed some DLC for Mario Rabbids, which is pretty cool. And then the Starlink game, actually, I think looks pretty nice as well. A lot of people are saying it's No Man's Sky, but actually good, so I'd be into that for sure. And they also showed Skull and Bones, which is basically the spiritual successor to all the piratey Assassin's Creed stuff, so we'll see how that goes. I was never big on those games, but if you like the Assassin's Creed pirate games, then Skull and Bones sounds like it could be right up your alley. Overall, Ubisoft had a decent showing. Again, I don't think it was anything out of the park, but it wasn't bad either. They showed The Crew 2, which, I mean, they didn't want to actually play The Crew 1. So, if you liked it, more power to you, but it was okay for me. Nothing special. Not bad, though, either. And then there's PlayStation. PlayStation. So PlayStation with their E3, they were touting as just doing deep dives into 4 games. The problem being, I'm not really interested in any of those 4 games. Last of Us Part 2, I never really liked Last of Us Part 1 all that much. It just seemed like a generic zombie game. I know it's going to piss some people off, but that's truly how I feel about it. And then Death Stranding, I mean, does anybody know what is going on with that game? What is this supposed to be? We're not seeing Death Stranding come out before 2020. I'm telling you right now. There is no way in hell it is coming out before 2020. It'll probably be more like 2021, because Kojima is always up his own ass with games nowadays. So that was basically, I mean, they revealed, I think it was a FromSoft game. It was some samurai ninja game. I'm not too interested in that either. I mean, PlayStation's conference didn't do too much for me. Spider-Man is I'm still anticipated, pretty hyped for Spider-Man, but that was about all they showed that really interested me. They showed the new Remedy game, which seemed kind of cool. I'll probably pick that up because I like Remedy's games, but that's about it. I mean, PlayStation did not do much for me this year. It seems like they're just holding back a lot of stuff for PSX every year, so their E3s recently have not been all that good. So I would stay tuned for them to do something more at PSX, but this E3 was nothing to write home about for me with PlayStation. And then there was Nintendo. So they showed Fire Emblem, they showed Octopath Traveler, they showed that mech game at the start that looked awesome. And then they showed the Smash. Oh man, Nintendo, you guys, god damn, I did not think they were going to go as hard as they did with Smash. To the point where it was a little bit disappointing when they didn't sneak in Metroid or something at the end, but from what I've seen, it's mainly that Metroid and Pokemon 2019 weren't ready to be shown. Which, I mean, if that's the case, I would rather them show nothing than show something that could be disappointing. So Nintendo, say what you will about the other conferences, no other game came anywhere near Smash 2018. Smash Brothers Ultimate it's being called now. And man, this game does look goddamn amazing. The roster that they're bringing literally is everyone from the past entries, plus a few newcomers. I mean, what can be said? That's absolutely insane. This Smash is shaping up to be one for the ages, and after the disappointment that was Smash 4, man, oh man, I cannot wait. Smash Ultimate looks goddamn amazing. Nintendo definitely brought the best game. Their conference may overall have been a little lacking, but that's more. I mean, if truly feel that Metroid and Pokemon weren't ready to be shown, I guess I can't really complain too much. It's still a little disappointing, don't get me wrong, but damn, Smash I think came damn close to making up for it. Nintendo, I think overall may have had a slightly weaker conference than what you may compared to like Xbox or Bethesda. Bethesda's probably my best show this year, but Nintendo, I believe, did bring the best game. Bethesda may have won E3 for me, but man, I'm the most hyped for the Nintendo game. So E3 this year, maybe overall, if you combine everything, maybe a little bit lacking compared to, say, last year. But I still think it was a decent showing. It wasn't horrible. It wasn't amazing. It was just decent. It was good. Decent to good. I would put it about a 7. You can't get too mad about a 7. But thanks for watching.